wanted to make a show that really speaks to the plurality, the multiplicity of experiences that are taking place and have always lived and existed within India.
So why 1975 to 1998? Why did you pick those years?
Artists were reckoning with a changing cultural order. So 75 is when a state of emergency was declared. So the first time when in India's life as an independent nation, democracy was suspended. And then 98 is when we become a nuclear power, and it was a bid to establish India as part of a larger global order. And it also suggests quite a distance from the non-violent ideals on which we became independent. So they both felt like these very significant occasions where an idea of India and its democracy was changing. I knew that this had to be the first work to receive an audience because I think it does a number of things. It introduces very clearly that this is a moment of a changing cultural order. So you see a city or an urban landscape in transformation, but at the heart of it are these two men who have paused their daily activity to have a conversation. I hope the show will demonstrate that it is connection between people that is crucial as a mode of support, but resilience, camaraderie, friendship. And so throughout the exhibition, you see this move between, a changing landscape and the place of the individual within it.
And this, to me, someone who's been going to India since I was tiny, this is modern India, right? This is where we are now, in the big urban metropolises. However, let's not forget who built it.
And that is exactly what I want people to keep in mind as the exhibition unfolds. In this bay, one of the themes that we are engaging with directly is questions around gender and sexuality and the experience here specifically of women. So in front of us and actually around us are the photographs by Shiba Chachi. It's a series of 19 photographs that follow 7 female activists. When Shiba returned to Delhi in the early 1980s, there were a number of protest movements led by these incredible and brave women. And so she joined those protests and she documented them. And then a decade later, she felt that she needed to return to those subjects. And so she has these incredibly gentle and tender portraits of the women activists, which she invited them to choose the settings where they wanted their portrait to be taken and to surround themselves with objects that they felt connected to.
They are so beautiful, but also they're quite, like you say, gentle and intimate, but also the amount of strength in these photographs as well. And this was the 80s?
1980 to 1991.
And resonates so much with what's happening today. So it kind of makes me think, we stand on the shoulders of these giants, but also how far we've still got to go.
Yeah. Here we have...
Oh yes, I was looking forward to seeing this.
A room which is looking at artists living in urban centers who were connecting with rural communities and the aesthetic traditions of villages as India was going through this transformative stage. So you have Meera Mukherjee's bronze sculptures and you have Madhvi Parikh's paintings, and you can really just see the resonances because Madhvi was not formally trained as an artist and she came to really making her work through memories of her childhood, and so this is drawing on rangoli and other kind of decorative patterns and traditions that you see on the walls of villages, and how she kind of adapts that and builds this kind of surreal world of her own, which is full of joy.
It's almost perfect that she wasn't formally trained because no one's formally trained in the villages.
Yeah.
So it sort of parallels that, and now there's a real resurgence and appreciation for artisan, ancient craft. in India.
Exactly, and a lot of these artists were spending a lot of time researching, learning, engaging with those craftspeople, those communities, which documents or really represents the sense of unity and solidarity and community amongst village life.
Which is really important because, as you know, often artists are from a certain class and a certain world and have the ability to be formally trained and experience life in a way that maybe puts them in a certain elitist space. However, as the title of this whole exhibition suggests, there are so many different Indias, so it's really important that we see this represented as well. So Shanay, having walked around the exhibition with you, I would love you to tell me a bit more about these photographs, and I'll tell you why I'm particularly interested in a minute, but who are they by? What's happening?
So they're by a photographer, Pablo Bartholomew, and they were taken in the late 70s and mid 70s. And so Pablo was, alongside his practice as a photojournalist and the documentary work that he was doing, which you see elsewhere in the exhibition, he would then in the evenings take pictures of his friends, his social life, his community. And for me, they felt extremely important to have in the show because, as I said right at the beginning, it's very much about remembering that while things are difficult and hard around you, you find solace, comfort, solidarity in friendship, in community.
Yes.
And there is a form of defiance and joy.
Correct. You've basically said exactly what was in my mind. Joy is an act of defiance, and it resonates with me as someone who moved to London and found my group of misfit South Asians, and none of us fit in anywhere else, right? So we found our community. And I've been in these bedrooms and I've danced on those floors, and I've laid on that bed. And so it delights me to see this sort of subversive collective of young people having a great time, knowing what's happening, on the outside world and what they're up against. The women and the men together in saris and jeans. I mean, my eye can't avoid this. It's beautiful.
So a work which is at the beating heart of the show is by Nilima Sheikh, and it's called Shamiana from 1996. And what you see here are these incredible panels that have been painted on both sides that depict the various journeys and experiences women take during their own lives through celebration, hardship, friendship. And it's such a evocative work.
All of a sudden, the world has changed.
It fully envelopes you, and it's one of those works that you have to walk around. You have to be in it, alongside it, behind it, around it, underneath it. It's like 2/3 of the works in this exhibition never been seen in the UK.
When was the last time an exhibition like this was held?
I think it's long overdue. We have 150 works here, and I think that at this size, it would probably be the 1980s when there were the national exhibitions coming from India to the rest of the world.
It's moving, it's remarkable, it's poignant, it's important. It's lifted my soul just spending this morning with you. I'll be back. You might have to she's here again. Get her out. It's beautiful.